Is it a constant struggle to retain your current self and not to relapse into your former self?
Constant, no.
Okay.
But when I first had the experience, it was 4 years of not even trying. After that, it became a battle. And today, there's still a warfare, depending on circumstances.
Okay.
That can change me. As recently as a month and a half, 2 months ago, I was confronted by something. And after a lot of stress and no excuses, it's my fault, and not being as tied in as I thought, I lost my shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it just showed me what that does is it shows you you're no different. You are still the same. And so I reiterate that, I'm not different as a man, Shawn McCraney.
Yeah.
So don't trust me, but trust what I suggest is something that you can use as a tool to help you operate better in this world.
Yeah.
And I suggest it's supernatural, spiritual, and inward. Yeah.
You've described your belief in God and Christianity as a crutch.
What would you be missing? What specifically do you think that you'd be missing if you did start to doubt and wonder about the belief?
What I would be missing is what I personally consider a metaphysical support that can't be proven that's within me. That is, I believe that I have a presence of God, not special, anybody does, who acquiesces to faith. And I've acquiesced to faith. That's an acquiescence. It's not a reality. It's not true or known. It's what I believe. I acquiesce to that faith, and that sustains me in my walk metaphysically. Maybe you can walk without that. I need it. I need that faith in place because I've tasted it. I know what my life is like without it. And if I don't have it, there's a loss. There's something within me that is sorrowful. Perhaps that, and maybe you might say, well, you're coming to reality with the hardness of life, Shawn. That's fine. I can accept that could be true because I walk by faith. However, I need it. And so I always will say, that's me. I take it. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I want the crutch.
You need you need faith, and you're calling it a crutch. But I'm wondering how difficult life could be for you if you started to wonder if your belief was true or not.
Well, I have wondered, and sometimes I wonder still. You have to think that you've got some things wrong. What happens, Anthony, for me, is the crutch of my beliefs sustains me in my walk in this life. Without the crutch of my beliefs, I become that guy that I was as a Mormon.
Have you seriously entertained that is exactly what would happen, that you would find yourself struggling again if you did begin to doubt? Does that question make sense?
Yeah, I think the question makes sense, and the reality is true, because as I have wandered over the course of the past however many 20 years, and I've sojourned into realms of doubt where I've sort of pushed some things aside, what the Christians call the former man quickly rises up in me, and I disconnect in my mind from the things I was holding true, and I begin to act on myself without those truths. And it's an ugly scene.
Okay.
Yeah.
What I think I'm hearing is that your behavior could change significantly if you didn't think that these claims were true.
Unquestionably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, maybe that's psychosis. Maybe, I have the mental issue that I need these things in order to keep me alive. And maybe it's a reality or not. Maybe I could be a good guy without it.
This is what I'm wondering.
Yeah. But come live with me. Ask my wife. Ask my daughters. Ask my family.
Right.
Like, Shawn, when I interviewed with you a couple years ago,
yeah,
I think you said to me something like I would kill a dude on the side of the road if I didn't have a belief in Jesus. I'm not trying to misquote you.
Yeah, no, you're about right.
Yeah.
If there's not a God, I get nothing in my person at all to be considered enlightened, to be considered a good neighbor. There is nothing in Shawn McCraney's human soul that came into this earth that cares about good things. I don't care about good things in my flesh. You got to understand that. I'm demented John, in my flesh. I'm one of the, Jean-Paul Sartre said, I am the biggest sinner I've ever met. And I would say, no, I am. I don't say that out of false humility. It is my lot. If you were on the road with me and I didn't have that experience where God took me blind and gave me sight, and you did something to me, I would attack you. I would attack your car. I would attack your wife. I would slit your tires, and I would consider myself in those actions good. For the faith of the broken, the lost, the reprobates, those people who don't have the intelligence, who don't have the serotonin levels, I'm a criminal. And it's not a joke. You can interview my wife sometime and talk to her, or my children. I am a bad human being. And so if there is no God, and we can prove there is no God, you enlightened guys, watch the hell out. Because guys like me are not going to make it easy on you. We are going to prey upon you. We are going to take advantage of you. We're going to feed ourselves. We don't care about your enlightened views, about being kind for kindness' sake. We care about ourselves. That is where Jesus comes in and does something that's so radical that it took a guy like me and changed me to do the good you talk about, that you naturally can do. I cannot do it. It's not rhetoric, John. I am a fucker. No, it's true. And so this is why I am so deeply committed to the thing that happened to me so many years ago and have consistently been committed to it. I know what I am, John. If you cut me off and I didn't know you and didn't have the change in me, I would pull over to the side of the road and we would go at it. You know, I would take your wife if I could. I've done it to other men. I would do whatever my flesh wanted to frickin' do.
Yeah.
When he came in, brother, you became my friend and my neighbor. And that, I just can't turn from that.
What's your level of confidence that you would literally become a monster if you didn't try, let's just say, a fourth way? Let's say there's a fourth way.
Yeah.
What's your level of confidence that you would become a monster by leaving a third way for a fourth way? That you have to have believing Christianity as a way to make yourself a decent person.
The difficulty in answering that question is because I've passed through what I've passed through to make me what I am right now. If I abandon that, I'm sure I would be more mature. I would be more rational. I would use more logic than my impetuous hormonal self of years gone by. But I know that, or I believe that the hole within me would only grow into more darkness.
That empathy, in your view, would be compromised, or that, what was the term that you used again?
Could be compromised.
Yeah, that term, that could be compromised.
Yeah.
Not would be, huh?
Yeah.
Okay. Your ability to empathize for others could be compromised if you didn't attribute that event to this higher power.
Right. I think that's my belief system.
If there was a better way to prove it or to show that it was actually true, would you want to know?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah. Like psychologically, and is it medicine I need? And is it this and that? Would that science bring me out into further enlightened knowledge? And I would be able to say, well, God isn't necessary. I've realized that the genetics of my makeup have all it needs is a little scientific tweaking. And I take the medicine and suddenly I say, wow, I don't need God at all. Sure. I'll go down any road you can offer me. But I have to preface it with none of the things I've tried in the past. From religion to study to medicine to alcohol to drugs to aberrant sex, nothing has given me the vision that the blind man received. And that's what has made me so determined to do what I do.
Interesting.
If you lost this belief and you no longer attributed the roadside event to God, would you revert to the person you once were?
Because of what I've experienced in my life,
Yeah.
I am, and because of what happened just a month and a half ago,
Okay.
I am certain of it.
Okay.
Now that is disputed by people, and they say, no, there's some other things that you can do, Shawn, that will replace it. But I would say those things are failures, so screw those things. If I discover my roadside experience is just some thing that isn't based in what has really worked, and it's like I'm hypnotizing myself, and there is no God. Look out, I'm going to become a drug bin.
Okay.
Yeah.
But if there is no God, doesn't that mean that you did that all by yourself?
Yeah. But that would not be authentic to me.
Why?
Because I know myself, what I'm like.
Yeah.
So while I might be able to say, well, I am a better guy, this guy is still alive. And it will become a question of who is going to reign.
Okay.
And if I find out that this was an inauthentic thing that I kind of did, and it didn't really happen, I would probably say, I'm not going to spend time reading this book anymore, teaching people, trying to love. I'm going to serve myself, because there's nothing after this. I am here now. You are going to be my object that I'm going to capitalize on. And I really think that way. Yeah.